We're touring the most popular one-story plan with Highland Homes in Austin, Texas. But if you prefer two-story plans, stick with me. We will tour two more homes built by Highland for sale over 3,900 square feet, and they're both in two of the top-selling communities in the Austin metro area. Stay tuned for some great tours. Now, this is the 213 plan built by Highland Homes. It has so many different structural upgrades that we're going to go through in this tour. It even has an upgrade to add a second story at the time I'm recording this video. So I'm going to cover as many of those upgrades as possible. This plan can be anywhere from a 3-bedroom to a 5-bedroom, 3-bath to a 4-bath, 0 half baths to 2 half baths. It can be a 2-car, 3-car garage. It's right around 2,800 square feet. But again, there's so many different options you can add to this plan. And like usual, we're going to go right out to the main living area and go room by room here in detail. Now, we are in a community called Six Creeks, which is located in Kyle, Texas. And the suburb of Kyle, Texas is located around 25 miles south of downtown Austin. And I'm going to talk a lot about this area and compare it to other areas you might be interested in if you're looking at new construction options around the Austin metro. For example, later on in the video, I'm going to talk about the top selling community in the Austin metro area. We're going to show one of the Highland homes that's for sale. That's a great 2-story plan. That's in a community called Santa Rita Ranch. And then we're going to highlight one more home that's located in a neighborhood in Georgetown, Texas, another suburb north of Austin, Texas. And that has great topography, great views. I'll even show you one of my clients' views that built their home from scratch. But let's start here right in the kitchen. I think you can see why this one-story plan stands out. It's got a wide open kitchen with very tall ceilings, and with this kitchen island facing out to the living room and dining area, everything feels very open to each other. Now, I like the two tones that they did here. They did light cabinets, light countertops, but a dark backsplash, and that dark backsplash pulls out the veins that are running through the countertop. Now, I did say something earlier that this was the most popular one-story plan that Highland Homes built. I should correct that. It's one of the most popular one-story plans. It's not a fair comparison sometimes. They have another plan called the 274 plan that I can share a walkthrough later that's over around 3,700 square feet. So obviously everything's bigger in that plan. But what I find so many of my clients tell me they like about these one-story plans are the tall ceilings, the windows everywhere. And even though it's a one-story plan, it still feels open concept. And that's because of the layouts in a lot of these plans with Highland. It resonates with a lot of buyers that are looking at new builds, but it's also because of the options. And I'll share with you one of those options that's not shown in this model home, but it's evident right here. Do you see that space beyond that opening to the left of this pantry? That's currently the builder agent's office. So that would eventually be a 3-car tandem garage. So that would be the tandem space in the garage. But if you don't value the tandem space, what you can get instead is you can change that garage space into a fitness area. So it can be like a mini gym. And I have 3 clients right now building their home. Actually, one of them just closed a couple weeks ago, and they put a gym on their first floor, and they got an upgrade with the builder to put in a fitness area. Now, for their plan, they didn't have to take up the tandem space, but obviously there's different plans, different things that you can do in these plans. But I like that option because I'm finding a lot of people want a fitness area inside their home. Another option you could do there is what they're calling an enhanced laundry and pantry space in lieu of that tandem garage. So that just makes the pantry huge and then makes the laundry massive, but it does take up that tandem space. Now, as we go out to this main living area where you got these tall ceilings, it feels very open. If you're wondering, well, wait a second, why would I take up my tandem garage space? I need that space for storage. I got kids' bikes. I got so many things I want to put in my garage. I can't just do a 2-car garage. Well, rest assured, if you have a lot that's large enough, a lot of times most builders will allow you to add either an extra half-car garage space or a 3rd-car garage bay if you have enough width at the front of your lot. And that's where just finding the right lot or the right lot in a new phase that's coming up maybe months from now is so important when you're looking at homes. And that's exactly what I do with my clients when I'm walking them through different options. My realtor partners and I are always looking around the city for what's coming up in the future, because sometimes the best option for you based on your criteria, it doesn't exist right now. It's going to be a lot in a new phase that's coming up 2 months from now or 4 months from now or 6 months from now. And for a lot of our clients, what we always tell them is we don't work for any of these builders. We work for our clients and we represent their best interests. So our goal is not to sell you on what exists now. Our goal is to get you the best options and tell you the pros and cons of those options so that you can make a better decision. And sometimes that decision is just to wait 2 months, 4 months. I have a lot of clients right now looking around at lots or looking at different phases that are coming up because they might get a better opportunity there. And while we get into the primary bedroom, I'll give you some more details on what that's like to build from scratch with some of these builders in the Austin metro, like Highland Homes. And this is a great example. Do you see those 2 chairs that are over there? They are in a primary bedroom extension. So normally the wall would be cut a little bit shorter where you wouldn't get as much space there. But if you're deciding to build this plan from scratch, you want to open up this space. So instead of just having 3 windows and no chairs there, you can get 5 windows in this case with that primary bedroom extension, and you have enough space to put 2 chairs there, or maybe you have a crib that you need to put in your primary bedroom, then that's the perfect upgrade to do. Now, when I say perfect upgrade, just keep in mind there are 2 ways to buy with Highland Homes. You can either build from scratch, and what that means is in these various communities around the Austin metro, as well as other cities in Texas, you can pick a lot and decide to build a certain floor plan on that lot. And when you build from scratch, you can pick all your upgrades. Now, these upgrades do change over time. So I'm going to give you upgrades, but obviously double check if these upgrades exist before you buy. And of course, bring on a realtor that knows builders inside and out that can give you the pros and cons of each of these options, floor plans, communities, areas, everything, right? But moving on to the structural upgrades, when you decide on a floor plan that you like, you can start to pick different structural upgrades that you want to add to the plan, pending that the builder offers that. Once you decide on the structural upgrades, the floor plan, the lot, and you contract with the builder, usually about 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks later, you'll go to the design studio, and that's where you'll pick all of these things, like the tiles in the bathroom, the flooring, the cabinets, the countertops, the paint color. There's so many things that you can select at the design studio, and I've done that multiple times with Highland Homes. I've done it with 21 different builders as well, and each of those builders is different, I would say, at the design studio, but that's a whole nother batch of options that you can choose. So the best part about building from scratch is you get all of these choices. The problem with building from scratch is you get all of these choices, right? Sometimes people call me and they say, hey, I'm a little bit overwhelmed by the idea of building. And sometimes that's okay. Don't build. There's a second option I'm going to talk about in a second. But sometimes they just are a little bit overwhelmed by all these choices because they've never done it before. And look, I've been there. My wife and I, for our starter home, I had no idea production builders existed years ago. It's actually a big reason why I got into real estate. We actually built with a production builder. I love the process. I love that there were options. And I also saw that there were opportunities to, give advice to people that nobody else was giving. And that's why I started doing these videos and really exploring these floor plans. And by the way, that's a quick access that we're looking at from the primary closet to the utility room. And then that room on the left side that you saw there, left of the utility room, is the builder agent's office. But again, that would be your tandem garage space. But getting back to what I was stating, so the first way to buy with Highland Homes or some of these production builders is to build from scratch. And I love that shot. My videographer was totally trying to avoid a handyman who was on a ladder. I love it. But the second way to buy is buy an inventory home. And that's exactly what we're going to see later on in the video. So I'm going to show you 2 inventory homes that are for sale in different neighborhoods that Highland builds in that I've had a lot of clients contract in. Now, a lot of people tell me, well, why should I buy an inventory home? Why wouldn't I just build and pick all my options? And the obvious answer is timing, right? Timing is the big factor. The 2 homes I'm going to show you later on are completed. So they can technically close in 30 days, maybe even sooner if you're paying all cash, but usually it takes about 30 days to close out on those inventory homes that are completed. But keep in mind, these builders have homes at various stages of construction. So some might complete in 2 months, some in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, so on and so forth. And then typical build time does vary in all these neighborhoods, so definitely double check that. But I've been seeing anything on the low end of like 7 months all the way on the high end to like 9 to 12 months in some neighborhoods. Not necessarily Highland Homes, but like all the builders that I'm talking to on a weekly basis. So there's a large range, but it obviously depends on the builder and the size of the home as well. And we're going to get to a couple of spare bedrooms, but stick with me. There are some great rooms in this one-story home that I think so many people want. One of those is a entertainment room, game room. Another one's a study. And then I'm going to talk about a lot more options that are coming up here because there are so many structural upgrades that are currently being offered. But I want to continue talking about inventory homes versus building from scratch for a second. So I have clients that are actually visiting Austin next weekend from Dallas. Shout out to them if they're watching this for some reason. And what they are exploring are neighborhoods in North Austin and neighborhoods in South Austin. And then they were, kind of going back and forth on what they want in their home. And so they're asking me, well, should we build from scratch or should we buy an inventory home? And what I told them is timing is a big factor, but the other factor is pricing. Builders tend to be very motivated to unload inventory homes, especially when they're close to completion or they're completed. And that's what I'm feeling out on a weekly basis because that can change. Also, building from scratch, the incentives that are carried with building changes. Okay, I have two clients that contracted last month, both with the same builder, both in the same community, and it's because that builder, the builder agent texted me and said, hey, I'm meeting with management this Friday, and I think they're gonna do a deep discount on lots because we need to pick up sales for this quarter. A lot of these builders are publicly traded. Highland is not. Highland is private at the time I'm recording this, but some of them are public. And so they, just like any other company, have quarterly numbers that they're trying to hit. And that builder agent gave me a heads up, and he was always gonna give me a heads up. I was in his office pretty much every week because my clients were interested in those lots, but I told them that I felt like the pricing didn't make any sense. Well, they increased incentives by $60,000. Now, those were on homes that were priced around $1 million. So don't go to Highland or other builders. This has nothing to do with Highland, by the way. It's another builder. But this just gives you an example of how fast something can change from one day to the next just because a builder needs to make sales by the end of the month or by the end of the quarter or for some reason. And look, I don't give all that information in public-facing videos, but for any clients that we work with, we disclose everything that we know. We give them multiple examples of clients that we've worked with their similar criteria and what we've been able to do with them, either building from scratch or with buying inventory homes. And so timing and what you're buying is everything, right? And again, these things can change on a weekly basis. Now, getting back into the plan, we have a full bathroom that's in between two bedrooms. And what a lot of my clients tell me is they want privacy on a one-story plan. And why I think this one-story plan stands out as being very popular is each of the bedrooms are on opposite sides of the home. So when we're looking at this specific model home, the primary bedroom was in the back right. These two bedrooms are in the back left. We're gonna see another bedroom that's at the front left of this home. And so each of these rooms are kind of private from each other, except for these two bedrooms, but there's still some privacy because they're split by a bathroom. And having that privacy, I think, is important, especially on these one-story plans where sometimes you can't achieve that without having a long hallway that goes all the way out to like a separate bedroom or a separate area. And keep in mind, those hallways, when they're really long and take a long time to get through, that's also wasted square footage, and I don't think Highland wastes square footage in these plans, and that's why I think they have very popular one-story plans. And then we also have to go back to options. So there's so many options. I only covered a couple, like that fitness area or the enhanced laundry room. There's also, in lieu of that tandem garage space, you can do a pet spa. Not joking, a pet spa. I mean, this is like a dream if you love dogs, which I love dogs. My wife and I don't have dogs yet. I'm working on getting my wife on board with that, but we got two young kids right now, aged 3 and 1. So I'm hopeful in the next like 2 to 4 years we'll get a dog. But yes, there is a pet spa, perfect for, bathing your dog or any pets if you have them. There's an enhanced pantry option. And then also in that tandem garage space, you can put a second study. And for all my clients that are in tech, stick with me. If you're looking at living in the North Austin area where a lot of the tech companies are, then there is options that Highland is putting into their plans to really cater to the tech people that are buying these homes. And tech people meaning when you work from home, and it doesn't matter if it's tech or not, if you work from home, sometimes having that second study is so important because if you're a couple, sometimes one spouse is working in the study, the other one has to work in a spare bedroom or something like that. And by the way, that utility room that we just saw is what you typically see in this plan, but all these options would make the spaces look very different from each other. And if you ever need help with trying to imagine these things, I have a lot of videos of homes that are under construction. So I don't publish them publicly. They're usually dirty. There's guys running in and out of here like handyman, kind of like what you saw earlier in the video, except there's like 5 to 10 of those guys running around. But I still take videos to kind of capture these different upgrades, which I think are interesting. And then if I don't have a video of it, I can usually connect with these builders and figure out where it is in the Austin Metro and get you a video. And that's what I'm constantly doing for my clients, especially the ones that are out of state that can't come into these places and tour them themselves. And that's a good example of what I want you to experience when you're here, is having that entertainment room on a 1-story is so important. What people tell me, especially ones that have kids, is without that entertainment room, their kids just end up taking over the living room, and their toys are everywhere, and that living room gets a lot of walking traffic of you walking to your bedroom, walking to the patio through those sliding glass doors, and then you're constantly stepping over your kids' toys. And having a separate area for that, I think for most people, is really important. Also, for some people, having a powder bathroom is important. And so if you want to have a powder bathroom, there is an option to change storage space into a powder bathroom, and that's what you see here. Again, these can change over time, but this is one of the structural upgrades I'm seeing on their website at the time I'm recording this video. Now, if you are following me from earlier in the video, I mentioned there are all these options: 3 to 5 bedrooms, 3 to 4 bathrooms, 0 half baths to 2 half baths. Well, the 0 to 2 half bath option, one of them is right here that you see here. It would change one of the storage closets into a powder bathroom. And then the other one is upstairs. So currently they're offering a 2nd floor option in this plan, and that would either add a game room and a powder bathroom upstairs, or it would add a game room and a bedroom and bathroom upstairs. Now, I can't really walk through exactly what that looks like, but certainly I can show it to you. So if you need help with that, reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. And while we look at the study, I don't even know if I introduced myself earlier because this isn't about me. This is about you. My goal here is to give you value and showcase as many options as possible here in the Austin Metro and other places in Texas to really give you an idea of what you can do for your home, which is a big purchase. But my name is Raj Sahu. I'm a realtor in Austin, Texas, and I've represented clients with 21 different builders. But I think most importantly, I'm not afraid to connect you with realtor partners. What I think is so important, and I tell this to everybody, is you should find a realtor that is specialized in the criteria that you have. For example, I have investors that reach out to me, they want an investment property, but I have a realtor partner that owns 9 rental properties in Austin Metro. He's done Airbnbs, he's done long-term rentals, he's done it all. He's fixed them up. He's done so many great things around investing in real estate, and he's done it for 10 years. I can't provide value on the investment front more than him. Can I provide value? 100%. Could I take on that client if I really wanted to? Yes, I could. But I would do so knowing that he could do it better, and I would never do that, right? When I know that there's somebody that's better, I'm not afraid to connect you with that person. And then also with these builds, I have realtor partners that help me with these different areas of the Austin Metro, depending on what you're interested in, depending on the square footage, depending on the price point. Each of my realtor partners are specialized in something. And so when you reach out to me, my goal is to identify what your criteria is so I can connect you with the best expert. And then I work with them as a team to give you as much value as possible. And speaking of value, what I'm finding so many people need help with when they're reaching out to me through YouTube, which is where the majority of my clients come through, a lot of them ask about different areas of the Austin Metro, right? Everybody is pitching that they have the best area, but nobody's talking about why those areas are bad, right? And that's exactly what I try to go through with my clients. There are pros and cons to every single option. And I think the pros of this area of Kyle, Texas, is you're around 20 to 25 miles from downtown Austin, but it's still relatively priced well compared to other areas. And the reason why is you don't have as many high-income tech jobs like you do in North Austin. So South Austin just doesn't have as many of the tech companies. There's a chip manufacturer that's close by, but there's really not a lot of tech. Whereas a lot of the tech went into North Austin, like Apple's second headquarters, Microsoft, Amazon. A lot of them went to North Austin, and that's why you see more growth there. But the prices of homes are a little bit higher there. So it's a give and take, right? If you want better priced homes, but maybe not as much growth, then I would look at areas like Kyle, which, look, if you're buying for the long term, I believe these areas will grow over time. It just might take a little bit longer than what's happening in North Austin that has all these big tech companies. Now, speaking of North Austin, that's where a lot of my clients in tech land, and a lot of them are looking at communities with great topography, great views. They want to move to the Austin Metro because it's beautiful, and one of those areas is called Parkside on the River, which I'm going to show you later on in the video. But let me first show you the top selling community in the Austin Metro right here. Now, this is the 222 plan built by Highland Homes. Now, we're in a community called Santa Rita Ranch, located in Liberty Hill, Texas. I'm going to cover everything that you need to know about Santa Rita Ranch later on in the video. This specific home is for sale at just under $900,000, and there are so many parts of this home that I hear from clients that they absolutely love. That starts with the grand entrance that's open to the second story. You're gonna see that same tall ceilings in the main living area. But I think for this specific plan, it's all about the kitchen and the cabinetry that's here. Now, this specific home is over 3,900 square feet. It's got 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, and it is for sale at the time I'm recording this video. But if you wanted to build this plan from scratch, there are opportunities to do that across the Austin metro area. In fact, one of my clients built this same plan from scratch. There is a video of it on my YouTube channel as well, so you can see it. And they loved picking the design of so many of their rooms, especially right here in the kitchen. And I think you can see how much fun they probably had picking all these different things, because there's so many different parts of this kitchen that stand out as unique. It starts with this huge kitchen island. Now, fast forward a few months, my clients have lived in their home for a little while. They always tell me they love entertaining around this huge kitchen island. Well, anytime they have guests over, friends, family, they all congregate around this massive kitchen island. And I think you can see why it's definitely the focal point of this kitchen. Now, there are huge sliding glass doors. There's a unique lot here that does back up to some greenery that I'm going to show you a little bit later on in the video. But I just want to cover the different upgrades that are here. First being that kitchen island, and second and third being this 6-burner gas stovetop, this kitchen backsplash going up to the ceiling following that vent hood. And then there is an option here that you can do if building from scratch, or you can just buy a home like this that has this hutch option that extends the cabinetry all the way down to the breakfast nook area. Now, there is a separate dining room downstairs. There's a study. There's 2 bedrooms downstairs. There is a media room downstairs, but there's also a room upstairs that you wouldn't think is in most of these homes. But in this community, the developer of this community is trying to encourage the builders to do multi-generational housing. And what that means is it's not just a couple staying with themselves. It's these homes are made to house maybe a couple that has kids, maybe a couple that has kids and also has parents staying with them, like grandparents staying with them, that they want staying on the first floor. And so they want multiple spaces that people can enjoy in these different rooms while still keeping these homes open concept. And so we'll cover those rooms upstairs. There's actually 2 of them that I think are so unique that are what buyers want in this current market. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it. First, though, I want to show you what open concept means. So you saw tall ceilings when you walked in the front door, you saw it in the living room as well, and then you see it here in this patio area. And even on a cloudy day like this, I think you can start to envision really fun backyard parties or just enjoying some time after a long day of work back here.
Now, I am shooting this in the middle of winter, so that's why those trees look rather naked, and then they are clearing out for another phase back there, which you can see in the distance. So there will be homes back there. But this is Santa Rita Ranch. There's 10,000 homes being planned to build here, so it is unique to have a street of homes that back up to greenery like that. And again, it doesn't look the part right now, but that will look different over time, especially as we get into the spring months here in a few months.
Hey, real quick, if you didn't believe me about the grass, it does look beautiful in the springtime, and this is a good example of that. This is one of my clients' homes that closed in Santa Rita Ranch in the spring, and they closed on a northeast-facing cul-de-sac lot. And there's a couple things I want to share with you on that. Northeast facing, by the way, is the facing of the front door for a certain demographic that's moving to Austin. They really like east, northeast, or north facing lots. And for this specific lot, we contracted on this lot to build this home from scratch right here in Santa Rita Ranch when the market was slow. But I knew that there was a big break in phases for one of the builders that builds forever homes, and I knew there are a lot of people interested in lots like this. So we ended up contracting right when the phase opened, literally at 12:01 a.m. in the morning, right after midnight, right when the lots opened up on the builder agent's computer. We locked in the first lot. 6 other people bought after us between midnight and 3 a.m. We got an email at 3:30 in the morning saying, congratulations, there were 6 people that bought right after you, and 4 out of 6 people all wanted your northeast facing cul-de-sac lot that had the huge backyard. So if you want big backyards like this, you want to know what lots are coming up, then reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. Text me introducing yourself, and these are the types of things I can get you in on so that we can buy something that you really value before others get to it. And by the way, if you want this home tour of my client who closed around 3,800 square feet in Santa Rita, go ahead and comment below and I'll try to include it somewhere here on the video. Back to the video.
Now, the backyard is also usable. There is a slight slope in this backyard, especially when you get to the back of the property line. And these are all things that I tried to identify. By the way, I've represented clients with 21 different builders. I think I mentioned that earlier as well. And so I'm usually walking these homes when they're lots. So there's no homes on them, but there's plenty of lots that my clients look to build on. And so I'm usually trying to go through the trees to kind of figure out what that lot would look like. We also put our drone up in the air and try to get an idea of what the second floor would look like, especially if it has windows that look off the back wall, or just some of these rooms, what it would feel like after you build a home on it. Now I can tell you what it feels like with this living room, just because you get those tall ceilings. We're open to the loft area that's upstairs that we're gonna get to later on in the video. We have 2 floor outlets on the floor, which is perfect for recliners. And then you see electrical up there on the wall, perfectly planned for a TV. But this is really what I want you to imagine. By having your couch right around here, right off your right shoulder, you get those huge sliding glass doors that are a signature of Highland. They do such a great job with those. Behind me are all those beautiful upgrades that are in the kitchen. And then to the left of me, you get a front door that's double doors. And then you're also open to that loft area. And this is what people tell me they want. They always tell me they spend a lot of time in their kitchen and their main living area, and they want it to feel very open. And I think this plan, the 222 plan, really accomplishes that. Now, what they also tell me is they want big primary bedrooms. I'm gonna tell you why in a second, but I think this is definitely big. So this is one of the structural upgrades that's in this plan, where you can do a primary bedroom extension, which just provides this bump out. You get these great windows that look off that back wall, and then we still get that same greenery, which again, it's middle of the winter. Our grass does go into hibernation, so this is pretty typical of what we see, but it does green up eventually. There's electrical on the wall for a TV, but this is really what I want you to imagine. When you get out of bed and you peel the curtains back, this is a cloudy day, but just imagine the sun coming out. It's a beautiful breakfast morning. And by the way, I do try to take these videos when the sun's out, but sometimes the weather does not cooperate. But I think the big reason for that primary bedroom extension, and this is what a lot of my clients tell me, is when they have kids, they don't want to go up and down the steps to get to a new baby. Having the crib in their bedroom is great. A lot of people, when they hear that, they're like, well, how are you going to sleep? Well, whoever's covering the night is going to sleep in their primary bedroom with the crib next to them. And then whoever wants a full night of sleep goes to a different room and sleeps, right? It's just kind of how that works. But what people tell me is when they have a baby is when they're planning ahead, they don't want the baby's crib to be on a second bedroom downstairs because that's too far away from them. They want that second bedroom downstairs for their parents staying with them, who they don't feel comfortable going up and down the steps. So they have a need for that second bedroom downstairs. By the way, this has some great cabinetry here. So I don't use cabinetry, but my wife, I know, would love this. And so you tell me in the comments if you like that cabinetry there extended, which I think is fantastic and not what we usually see in a primary bathroom. But getting back to the point, the only other place then you would put your baby's crib is going to be upstairs, right? Upstairs is tough just because you have steps that you have to go up and down throughout the night. And I was just talking to one of my friends who has a 3-month-old at home, and their son gets up about 2 to 3 times a night. So imagine going up and down the steps 2 to 3 times at night when you're half asleep. That can be a little bit frustrating. And so I find that primary extension is huge. Now, this is actually the primary closet, even though it doesn't look the part. And they kept it open with no shelves in case clients want to do like third-party build out. If they don't do this, they'll put shelves and rods across these walls in 3 different locations or sometimes 2. And the tough part about that is you have, if you want to do a third-party closet built out, you have to rip those off, and then you have to have drywall repair, and that can get costly for no reason, right? If you're going to pull them out anyway, you might as well just keep them out now. Now, this is quick access to the utility room, so if you don't want to take your dirty laundry throughout your home, you have a place to do it right there. And by the way, if you need help with a third-party closet company, let me know. I have clients literally right now at the time I'm recording this video putting in their third-party closet, and they already snapped a picture and sent it to me. Their closet looks completely different. It's amazing the transformation you can do in a space like that. Just so you know where we're at, that's the utility room that we were just in, and then that's the door that goes to the closet. Any doors that I'm not opening are usually just linen closets, with the exception of this one that's under the stairwell, but like this would just be a simple coat closet that they haven't put the rack in just yet. So I'll have to ask them what they plan to do with there, but usually they just put one shelf in there and make that into a coat closet. And then the light bulbs are missing in this dining room, so bear with me. I have a walkthrough of my client's dining room with the light fixtures in there, and it looks beautiful. I think to have a dining area is kind of like a focal point. As soon as you walk in the front door and you start walking past, I like how it narrows down here just to open back up into the living room. It actually it makes us feel so wide. In fact, this specific plan can be built on a 60-foot wide lot. And my clients who built this plan from scratch, they had actually already bought a home in Santa Rita Ranch. They bought it about 4 to 5 years ago. And then when they came back to me 3 years later saying, you know, they want to have kids, they want to start a family, and they would need a bigger home, they looked at this plan and they could not believe that this could be built on a 60-foot wide lot because it felt so grand. It felt so much wider. And I think the design element that you saw there is a big reason why. Now, this is a 3-car tandem garage. Those are tankless water heaters, so you do get 2 because of the square footage that's there. That's a pre-plumb for a water heater. And this was just down because I guess they were checking something out in the attic. So they need to give you attic access in a lot of these places. So 3-car tandem garage, if you do get a wider lot, depending on the width of the lot and you're building it from scratch, sometimes you can add an extra garage bay, but it just depends. Now, obviously they have a mud bench here because we just entered in through the garage. My clients actually just decided to build a bench after closing. So I have a guy who's really good at anything with wood build outs like benches. He does accent walls where he'll put a piece of wood along an accent wall in like an artistic way and then paint it. I even have a client that has a curved staircase going all the way up to the second story, and he did these pieces of wood all the way up to the ceiling and then painted it, the whole accent wall a different color, and it looks amazing. In fact, if you want to see pictures of that, let me know. And I got so many things my clients are doing after closing, which I think is so much fun, especially on these forever homes. And when I say forever homes, gives you the space where you don't feel like it's congested. And this study is a great example of that, where that looks like a perfect Zoom background, just with that built-in cabinetry. And just behind me, you could put like a piece of artwork or something up there. You do get, I believe, there's a floor outlet, but I'm not sure why there are screws that you have to take off for that floor outlet. Usually it's like a cap where you can just lift the lid, but maybe there's some new child-proof thing that they have there. But either way, you get great windows off your right shoulder. You get double doors with the glass insert, which you tell me if you like this. So when these doors are shut, what people tell me is when they have young kids and their kids see them, maybe one of their kids is sick, it's staying at home, they're not at school. Anytime they can see them through those doorways, they like knock on the door. So some people tell me, I don't really want that glass there, but what I always tell them is if you like the glass, it allows for a lot more light to come in, then just put a film over top that gives you privacy, but it still allows for light to come in. Because I find a lot of my clients are all about light entering in different areas. And obviously doorways that are closed in will take off that light. Like this media room has double doors as well with no glass insert, but this is the one room where you don't want light coming in. And that's because you see that outlet right there? That is perfect for a TV screen, but they also have an outlet up here, and I believe that's for a projector. And that's usually why they put that on the ceiling there. So this is a downstairs media room. We're gonna see the second bedroom downstairs with an in-suite full bathroom. This is perfect if you have parents or anybody elderly staying with you. But I wanna cover media rooms downstairs. This has been a hot topic with my clients that are either building or looking at these new homes. And it's because a lot of people tell me their media room upstairs, they just never really use it. They spend a lot of time on their first floor, and they never really venture upstairs on their second floor. And then a lot of my clients that tell me that they have kids, or maybe they're pregnant with kids, so they don't really know what their life will be like after their kid, especially when it's just your first one that you're about to have. What they don't realize is your kids sleep at like all times of the day, and then your kids usually go down around what, 7, 8 p.m., especially if they're younger. And the tough part about that is when they're sleeping, let's say hypothetically upstairs, or maybe you have 2 kids, like my wife and I have a 3-year-old right now and a 1-year-old. Our 3-year-old is already in a bed. And so the last thing we want to do when we put our 3-year-old down is wake them up because we're watching like a movie or TV or something on a big screen TV that's neighboring them, right? And once you have 2 kids, right, they're not going to stay with you on the first floor here. They're going to be, at least one of them is going to be upstairs. And so what a lot of my clients tell me is they just can't enjoy that media room when it's upstairs, but that's why they like it downstairs. But here's the conundrum. And I get a lot of people that tell me they still want to have something upstairs that is private. So when somebody's hanging out in the living room, maybe somebody's listening to music in the kitchen while they're cooking, or they're watching a game in the living room, down there, they want to have an enclosed space upstairs where somebody else can enjoy their own space upstairs. Now, I don't think that's easy to do in this game room loft area, just because this home is so open concept, but that's great. This is what a lot of my clients tell me they want. They want it to feel open concept. Oftentimes with people with young kids, especially, they don't want their kids feeling like they're on top of them, but they don't want their kids in a room that's private and away from them. They want to see them play or hear them play. As those kids get older, or as somebody's watching something on the TV downstairs, somebody else is watching something upstairs, they want to have a room just like this, which is that secondary media room. Now it does have a window, so I guess it's not technically your like theater room that has no windows and that you make into a theater room. You can make this into whatever you want, and I'm glad they kept that as an option while still giving some things that people want. For example, I believe this is a conduit that goes from here to right over there. I'd actually have to check on the upgrades again. It's my fourth home I'm walking today, so sometimes I don't keep track of the exact electrical upgrades. But obviously when my clients look into these plans, I cover all the details and we get a very detailed PDF file of everything. But right now I'm just trying to get you the structural options and the feel of this plan. And what I'm feeling about this plan is you could either put, you know, your TV on that side and then wrap couches around this side, or you could wrap couches in an L shape around this side and put the TV right up there. And so there are a couple options that you could do here. And the room has a lot of flexibility. It doesn't have to be a TV room. It can be just a play area. Sometimes people don't want their kids' play area and all their toys to be right here. Sometimes people don't even have kids. They have everybody's adults and they want people to spend time on the first floor, but people who are upstairs can just go into that room and spend time there. And that's having that flexibility, those options, and feeling like you get privacy within your home is important, but you still have to have that open concept feel. And if you want that combination of open concept, but still private from each other, but I really think this plan accomplishes that. Okay, now you're probably wondering, what is this huge room? It's got a couple windows, it's got a big closet there. And I'm gonna give you a hint when I show this bathroom that's en suite. 2 sinks, that means it is a generational suite. And when I say generational suite, that means that if you have somebody staying with you that is staying for a long time, you want them comfortable in their own suite, this is a suite option that they have that is upstairs on the 2nd floor. Now, there is a suite option they were offering on the 1st floor. At least they were offering it when my clients were building, but I believe it takes up the space of the downstairs media room. But if you get this option of the media room upstairs, then maybe you could put the downstairs suite there if they are still offering it. And when I say if, these builders do change from time to time what options they offer. Obviously, they get feedback from clients. If there are issues that come up with some of these upgrades, then they just stop offering them, and they keep altering these plans to just make them better and better and better. At least I should say, usually that's the case. Sometimes some builders, I don't think it's Highland, but some other builders like to go cheap on some things to make more profit, and I do catch them when they do that. You know, a lot of these builder agents know that I'm touring. I've toured so many of these homes every single year for years now, and I do all these videos because a lot of my clients reach out to me through YouTube. Actually, 98% of my clients come from YouTube or Instagram, and it's great. It's good marketing, but also I do this for my own records as I continue to do these detailed walkthroughs where it's way too much talking, but it forces me to talk through the plan and talk about everything. And what ends up happening is I memorize a lot of parts of different plans. So when people consult with me, my realtor partners and I know their best options right off the top of our head. Also, I can also track the progress that these builders are making, because obviously builders change over time, and I have so many different examples of that. And I can't cover all the cons in like a public-facing video. I would have great things to say about Highland in general. There are multiple things that they've done that I think make them stand out. But bottom line is, if you need that help, reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of these videos. I'm always happy to help with that. Now, a high level of Santa Rita Ranch, and I just want to cover one last closet that's in the game room, and then wait until you see the next 2-story plan that's in another community that I would recommend, depending on your criteria, of course, but I think generally speaking is a great forever home community called Parkside on the River. But this community, Santa Rita Ranch, why people come out to this area of Liberty Hill is because of the amenities and the activities. This community has 3 different amenity centers at the time I'm recording this video. I believe they're going to add a 4th one sometime in the future. And these amenity centers are huge. The last one was on 8 acres, has 3 pools, has pickleball, and they have so many events in this community. It feels like every other day something is happening in the community. So if you want to walk out your front door and enjoy amenities and community and activities, you want very lively, active neighborhood, then Santa Rita Ranch, in my opinion, should be somewhere at the top of your list, depending on your criteria. And then also, if you want on-site schools and so many other things that are attracting people to this area, I think this is a great option for you.
Okay, so we just saw that home in Santa Rita Ranch. Now I want to go to another community that I talked about earlier that has great topography, amazing views, and that's Parkside on the River. Now, this specific home that I'm showing you right now, we're not going to tour it. It's going to be on my YouTube channel next week, so subscribe if you want to get notified when this video gets dropped. But this is the backyard view of my clients that closed in this neighborhood of Parkside on the River and showcases the views that are possible in this neighborhood. Now, if you like views, you like the idea of backing up to Greenbelt, you want to see the sunset off your backyard patio, and you want to see as much greenery as possible, then go ahead and text me on the number at the bottom of the description of this video. I have about 3 to 5 communities right now that have great phases that are coming up that have views, some that look out like this, some that look out for miles, some that look more to greenery and trees. But if this is something of interest to you, definitely reach out to me. Would love to get you in on lots like this, similar to what my clients did with this beautiful backyard and this amazing view. Okay, now we're gonna go to a Highland home that is for sale at the time I'm recording this video, and it's right down the street from this home here in Parkside on the River in Georgetown, Texas. So stick with me for another great home tour.
Now we're touring the 224 plan built by Highland Homes in a community called Parkside on the River. Now we're in one of the fastest growing suburbs in the United States called Georgetown, Texas, which is north of Austin, Texas. And in this plan, we have 4 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms, a 4-car garage, and we are listed just under $965,000. Now, I've actually had a client build this plan from scratch in another community called Santa Rita Ranch. And so I'm gonna go through some of the options that were offered to us at the time we were building this same floor plan. Now, as you can tell right at the front entrance, one of the main reasons why my clients love this plan was because of the tall ceilings when you first walk in the home, as well as right here in the main living area. I'm gonna go through this home in detail. I'm gonna walk through some of the options that were offered and some that are currently offered in this plan, depending on what lot size you're building it in. And we're gonna start right here in the kitchen. Now, what's unique about this plan is the kitchen is situated in the middle of the home. And then as you exit that kitchen, you either go back to the front of the home or you're in the location that I'm standing in, which has tall ceilings for a living room as well as a dining area. Now, being that this is an inventory home that's for sale, they kept the colors neutral. They have this white backsplash following the vent hood going all the way up to the ceiling. We have a 5-burner gas stovetop, and behind us we have an apron sink with this large kitchen island that looks out to cabinetry. Now, there are some options upstairs that I think you'll really enjoy. There's even a secret option, I would call it, that most people don't realize is there. We'll cover that a little bit later on in the video. I'll also cover a lot of the upgrades that are here downstairs structurally. We're actually looking at one of them right here, which are the sliding glass doors going out to the back patio. Now, what's different about sliding glass doors with Highland right now at the time I'm recording this video is a lot of them open up at the center. And some people want those doors that go all the way down, slide into kind of one piece. But I think having them at the center, the advantage is you get these big doors that's easy to just get out rather than sliding a large panel. And then what I think makes a big difference is when you have those big sliding glass doors that look out to this patio, you really need a large ceiling height. And I think that's exactly what you see here. And Highland did put a gas stub out on this side for a grill in the future. You also have a hose on that side. And then we do have usable backyard space. And I say usable backyard space because in this community of Parkside on the River, there are some great lots that have incredible views. There are lots sometimes that are on a slope where you just don't get as much usable backyard space. But I think you'll agree, in this backyard, we also have a decent side yard and a fairly flat backyard. And then what's great about this specific lot is the neighbors behind us do have a mature tree in their backyard. So that offers privacy both for them and for whoever's buying this home. That gives you a good look at the backyard space. Now, where my clients actually built this home in Santa Rita Ranch, it had a view that was on top of a 1,000-foot tall cliff, and it looked out for miles and miles. So they had an amazing view that looks off these sliding glass doors, and it was just incredible. And I'll bring that up now because here in Parkside on the River, you have some great lots that are currently available. I'll show it to you right here. Getting back into the plan, we have the primary bedroom, which was right off of that backyard patio door. You did have a separate patio door. We also have a sliding glass door, which is what we use to exit that exit into that patio. And then I'll get back into the main living area. The main living area does have a study off of it, as well as a media room. And then we're gonna still see a dining room and a spare bedroom downstairs that has a full bathroom off of it. Now here in the primary bedroom, one of the structural upgrades you can do is a bump out in this area, which extends that primary suite. I would say it's fairly large already to begin with. A lot of builders don't like me giving out dimensions for these homes because they do change over time. And obviously I can't come back into these videos and change every single dimension as these plans change with builders. But if you need help navigating through these options, you want to know more in details, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I'm happy to share with you what my clients have done previously and use that as an example of what you can do. And this is one of those examples. I have a client who's actually closing in this community later this month at the time I'm recording this video, and they had pendant lights, not pendant lights, but vanity lights, or what some people call sconces, that they wanted to put on the sides of their mirrors. So they got bulbs put right here and here so they could get custom lights put in that area after closing. We actually just met with a general contractor to quote a lot of those items as well. We have accent walls going up in the living room. They have a fireplace in their home, so they're putting an accent wall all the way up to the ceiling above that fireplace. In a lot of their rooms, like their study, they have a workout room. In their bedrooms, they have a lot of accent walls going in, and so we're getting separate quotes for that, along with some of the electrical changes that they're making. Like they're putting in 4 chandeliers. 2 of them are actually over 115 pounds. And a lot of that is already prepared for with the builder. But keep in mind, a lot of these builders, like production builders, they're not going to mess around with 100-pound lights. There's just too much going on at the time of construction. So they never want that liability. But they can get you these great plans, and then you can take these plans and do whatever you want with them after closing. And so I have a lot of my clients preparing for what they want to do after closing, like my clients who are about to close down the street from here. Now, the primary closet does have access to the utility room. So if you don't want to lug your laundry through your home, it's always great to just dump your dirty laundry through that door right here in the primary closet. Okay, now we're gonna head to the rest of the main living area, and I'm excited for you to see this just because this is a unique plan. For a lot of my clients, some of them tell me they want a study that looks out to privacy. They don't want it looking out at the front of the home. And actually, before we get to that study, you gotta see this living room one more time because it's massive. And so the idea with this plan, and of course you can do whatever you want, but where I'm standing is where the living room would be. So you can put a couch right here in the middle of this living room, looking over my left shoulder here where you see some electrical, which would be a perfect area for a TV. That's why they have electrical running in that area. And then on this side, where all the windows are located, which is bringing in a great amount of natural light here, you have an area for a dining room. Now, if you're having trouble understanding how this would look, let me know. I have pictures that I could send to you of this plan or a similar plan staged, where you can get an idea of where the dining room would be compared to the living room and where the couches would be on that side. Either way, you get this great tall ceiling. Feels like you're almost in a gymnasium here in the living room, which I got to show you one more time. And then up there on the right side is actually the game room area, which we'll see later on in the video. Okay, now for some of my clients, they tell me they want a study off the back of their home, so there's a little bit more privacy there. And that's where you have a study right here. Now, for some people who work from home, they might tell me, well, hey, they work late in the night and they don't want to be off of the main living area. If that's the case, Highland does have plans where they have a study that's closer to the front of the home, away from the main living area. But some people tell me, they work from home during the day, and at night when they're cooking dinner, when they have people over or friends, they're not really working at that time. I think it's a great location for a study because you do get privacy looking off at the back of the home, and then you get quick access to your main living area and kitchen. You also get great access to this media room, and this is the second thing that people tell me when looking through different floor plans with builders. Some people tell me having a media room on their second floor, they're just never going to use it. And I've had people tell me they never use their media room when they put their kids to sleep. If they have kids at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then they want to watch TV, they want to watch a show, they can never enjoy it because that media room is upstairs where the kids are. Well, here in this media room, as you can tell, they have electrical running on that side where your TV would be. The dots that you see on the ceiling are actually, it's pre-wiring for speakers, so you can install those after closing. And there's a lot of electrical that I haven't gone through in detail, but I'm just making some simple assumptions because I've looked at these many times over. You see those two dots back there. It looks like for speakers. And then you see that black wire sticking out here. That is going to be for a projector. And so that projector screen has a plug as well as a black wire that's running all the way through the ceiling, all the way down right there to connect in with the TV. Or you could do a projector on that wall, but I think TVs are so inexpensive right now. It just makes sense right now to go with a TV unless you really value a projector. And I just had a client close last week. They have a 100-inch TV going in their media room, and I'm really excited for them. In their game room, they actually put a pre-plumb for a sink, and they said it's because they snack often in that media room, which I get when you're watching movies, you're having fun there. It's great to have that in their game room. And shout out to them if they're still watching. They mentioned they still watch my channel even after closing on their home. And so if they're watching, love how their home came out. I can't wait to show it on YouTube. Okay, getting back into the plan, this is the dining area. So if you prefer to have a formal dining area, you do have this space for that dining area, or you could make this into a study, or you could make this into an additional bedroom and full bathroom. And that's very unique. There aren't too many plans that offer you 3 bedrooms downstairs. And I've had some people, in fact, one of those clients moved in just down the street. By the way, this is a good nook area for if you want to make this into a dining room area. And I know it sounds like I have a lot of clients on the street. I do, because this is one of the sections that feeds into Leander ISD. And for a lot of my clients that really want high-rated schools, they want to be around the beauty here in the northwest corridor of the Austin Metro. I told them that this is one of the top options that's here. And that's why I have a lot of clients either building on this street or just closed recently. One of those clients were telling me they have their parents and then their in-laws staying with them from time to time. And so allowing them to stay on the first floor where they don't have to go up and on the steps is very important to them. And that's where having 3 bedrooms downstairs made a lot more sense. So they actually picked another plan where they had a generational suite put in one area of the home. And then that also gave them a 3rd bedroom downstairs. So they already had a 2nd bedroom downstairs, including the primary bedroom. So that ended up giving them 3 bedrooms and 3 full bathrooms downstairs. Now in this home specifically, we don't have that option. Obviously we have the dining room instead, but I'm just giving you some options if you decided to build this from scratch. And obviously double check everything that I'm saying with the builder. They do change these upgrades that are possible. They change their plans. And there's a lot of examples that I can give to you of that. And you can also just reach out to me too. I don't work for builders. I work for all my clients, and I represent my clients as they look at different options with various builders. And I have no bias. I've represented clients with 21 different builders, which I mentioned earlier. And so I can give you that unbiased perspective a lot of people need. Okay, this is just a closet, but if you did build this from scratch, that's usually where the powder bathroom would go. And then you just have a coat closet here, which is fairly typical. Okay, now I don't believe we covered this side. We just saw the utility room, which was accessible through that primary closet door that we saw previously. This is typically what we see on a lot of inventory homes where they have a tile that has some good movement, still uses neutral colors. But I think the difference here is, if you look at the doors are usually taller here with Highland. They use these dark hardware, which I think provides a good contrast. And then you have this shaker style door, which I think is great, where you don't see that often with a lot of builders in their inventory homes. And then I missed one light here at the mud bench area where they didn't actually put in the bench. They just put in a design, and that's because a lot of people want to put in their own bench right here, and they just buy that as like a furniture piece after closing. Okay, getting to the garage. This is one of my favorite parts. My 2 clients that are down the streets, this is one of the advantages they got by not picking a view lot, and that was a dropped garage. And so that gave them maybe a little bit more ceiling height in their garage. They also did the same upgrade that you see here where they put a 3rd car garage bay. Usually this should just be a 3-car tandem garage space. So you get some great storage on this area for bikes, for anything sports related like soccer, basketballs, anything that you have going on here. I think it's great to have. And then you also get this tandem space for even more storage space, which I think is really important, especially for a lot of my clients that are moving here from up north, where they're accustomed to having a basement to throw all their stuff. You don't really have that here, but what you do have is a waterless, that'd be tough, a tankless water heater, That's a pre-plumb for a water softener. We do get a lot of hard water here in Georgetown, and so you do want to have a water softener which demineralizes the water so that you don't have all sorts of appliance issues, which I do get calls from time to time from people who decided not to put that in. But those are in areas where it's 50-50. Here, I think it's like an absolute must-have. Okay, what I was showing you here, while you can't see me, but I think a spider just landed on my head, so I've lost my train of thought. But I finally got it back after seeing this. This is an EV outlets for a charger, and a lot of people say they absolutely need to have that. For a lot of people that already have EVs, it's great, it's a must-have. Otherwise, if your electrical panel is not in the right spot, you do have to run wiring through the attic, which can be very annoying and costly. But obviously, if you have that, you can just tie into the electrical that's there. And for some people who don't even have an EV, oftentimes I hear from people that say, I will eventually have an EV, and so I want to plan for it ahead of time. Okay, moving on, we are in the game room area. I think now is a good time to tell you that I do have a fear of insects. I wouldn't call it a fear per se, but I don't like them. And that's why I love these new homes where you just have less insects. You also have some builders that put in green wiring through the walls of the home, and that allows them to put in this spray that goes in through the walls because that wiring is perforated, and then you get this pesticide that goes through the home. And that's great. We use that once a quarter, and so bugs do get in. They'll eventually get in, they find their way, but then they come in dead on arrival. And I say that because now that I mistakenly ran into that spider web in the garage, I'm thinking, sometimes you don't have pesticide running through these homes that are sitting here for sale, right? So I always try to get the builder to try to do a spray right before closing, so my clients are taken care of, whether it's like ants or anything like that, or spiders. Okay, so we're in the game room area that looks down into the main living area. And I got a surprise that's through that doorway, which I'll show you here in a second. But what I want to talk about is why people are moving to this area of Georgetown. And a couple of the reasons why is, number one, employment. So you have a lot of tech companies that are coming to this area, like Apple built their second headquarters close by to this community. I would say about 20 to 30 minutes south of here. A lot of the land south of here that's in another suburb called Round Rock or another suburb called Cedar Park, it is very developed. And so a lot of that land that's already developed doesn't really have much opportunity for new construction. So you can live there, but your dollar doesn't go as far. And in most cases, you end up buying an older home. And that's why a lot of people started getting pushed to Georgetown. That really happened during the pandemic. But the pandemic just sped it up. I think it was already happening to a degree. But then you had a lot of these tech companies announce, like Apple building their second headquarters right before the pandemic. They announced that. Now a lot of their employees are starting to move here. They still have, I believe, a couple more phases of offices that they need to finish out. And then they'll have even more people moving here. And I've actually a client down the street from here that's starting at Apple at that location. They actually are already renting here for just a short time period while their home completes with a builder down the street from here. And so that type of employment from Apple and other tech companies that are around that area, like the Domain area or close by off of 183A highway, I think that's really important to have to drive growth. And I think the biggest indication of that is 2 children's hospitals were built about 20 to 30 minutes away from this community south of here. And we had 1 children's hospital prior to that. So when we go from 1 children's hospital to 3, and 2 of them build a mile away from each other in the northwest corridor of the Austin Metro, that gives you a really good indication of where the growth is, because these hospitals are spending millions of dollars up front to make a 40 to 50 year bet, as they call it, on this area. Maybe they didn't call it a bet, but they called it like an investment or whatever. You get what I'm saying. But the other big reason is the beauty. And I think you see that here, where I'm in a closet upstairs in a secondary bedroom, and you see some great topography right off the front of this home. And those homes across the street from here have incredible views. In fact, if you like views, you want an incredible view off your backyard, then check out the view that my client got down the street from here that they just closed on. Now, getting back into the plan, this is something unique that you can do, which is a walk-in shower on the second floor. Not all builders allow for this because they don't want it done on the second floor, or I should say a mud set shower. A lot of times they won't allow, but some builders won't even allow a bathtub conversion into a walk-in shower. I think this is great, especially if you're using this for guests who might want a walk-in shower as opposed to a bathtub, or if you have older kids. That's where I get a lot of people that want that walk-in shower. Okay, the structural upgrade that they did here were the expanded bedrooms in lieu of a lifestyle room with an extra full bathroom. So that gets the in-suite full bathroom that we just saw over there. We have another full bathroom that was accessible from the hallway here. And usually, if you build this plan from scratch, depending on the community that you're in, there would be a bedroom and then a separate lifestyle room in between them. It's kind of like a second game room, but it's not as big as this game room. And why they do that, a lot of reasons, is because, what I think is the main reason, is because that lifestyle room is perfect for kids. So if you can imagine this, if you have kids over here in the bedrooms and you want an area where they put all their toys, and then you want to make this into more of a hangout area for everybody else. A lot of times when you have kids, their toys take over, especially if they're young, and so they take over this room. Also, you can have toys kind of go through those railings into the living room, bop somebody on the head. And so a lot of times they want that separate. And so that's where some people elect to have that lifestyle room over there in between the bedrooms rather than the expanded bedrooms upgrade. So there are a lot of different upgrades that you can entertain with Highland, but what I can tell you is what a lot of people tell me they really want that doesn't look great aesthetically is storage space. Now, I can't make any guarantees on what your storage space would look like if you build this plan from scratch, because each plan is different as they bring in utilities from different spots of the property. Every property line is different, every lot is different. Even this one had that garage space. When my clients built this from scratch, they were able to walk all the way down in on top of the garage. And so even though they didn't have floorboards in that area, they were planning on putting floorboards in after closing. Now, every construction manager will tell you that's a no-no. They're not guaranteeing that you won't fall through because it's not structurally made to be able to walk on top of it. But definitely talk to a contractor who's educated. And I think when you have a plan like this that has this amount of space, that's great if you just want to have it for storage. But also I've had people look at an upgrade option where they have a third bedroom with a full bathroom going here. So if you valued an extra bedroom upstairs, maybe you need 2 bedrooms and another guest bedroom upstairs, there is an opportunity if you build it from scratch in certain communities on this 224 plan. Okay, getting back to the front of the home, what I might have missed is the double doors. I think are great. It just brings in so much natural light, also provides this very grand entrance. And then you have this window that's even above it that just adds a lot of natural light. Now, if you liked this home tour, you want to see another home tour, stick with me for a second. And if you want to see more homes for sale, I put that on my website at the top of the description of this video. So take a look at my website if you want to see more homes for sale. And then if you need help, you want that unbiased perspective that I think so many people are looking for, go ahead and reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. Just text new home or just text me introducing yourself and we'll get on the phone and I'd be happy to speak with you and discuss your options. Now, if you want to see one of the most popular model homes with Highland, go ahead and click on this side of your screen, the left side. And as always, I hope this helps. Take care, everyone.